Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the New Orleans Saints versus Green Bay Packers Week 7 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, it'll always be very fluid in terms of keeping track of various team trends. However, there will always be little nuggets of truth that become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So starting with this matchup between the Saints and the Green Bay Packers, we're going to look at the NFL stat basic comparisons. And basic comparisons is just how the offense is doing, how the defense is doing, how the special teams is doing, all that kind of stuff compared to the rest of the NFL in terms of statistics. And so far in this game, the Saints are favored in this game overall, and I'll get into some reasons why. So first off, when you look at the total D score, which is the defense's ability to prevent first downs, the Saints, surprisingly, are better when it comes to that particular metric. The Packers have just kind of fallen off a cliff for whatever reason when it comes to that throughout the season. So, again, from that perspective, that definitely kind of goes in the Saints' favor. Offensively speaking, much more effective, efficient offense than the Packers. The Packers have to rely on a lot of different things, guys. Like, again, Aaron Rodgers was a big X factor to winning football games. When it came to third down, he got those third downs. When it came to getting touchdowns, he got those touchdowns. He put up with the sacks. He put up with all the inefficiencies. But eventually, you can only get hit so much before something goes wrong. And unfortunately, that's what happened. So, Brett Hundley coming in, I can't speak to him. I don't have any information to tell you how he's going to improve things. We're going to find out. But all I can say is that even if Aaron Rodgers was playing in this game, this still would be favoring the Saints because of all the inefficiencies on offense. And again, Aaron Rodgers is amazing, but you can only cover up so many things on a team that has a lot of issues. And again, some of that's because of injuries and all this other kind of stuff. But again, that's just the way it is. And then, of course, you look at turnover ratio, which is another thing that really helps the Saints. Saints have a very low turnover percentage compared to the Packers. The Saints also have a very low sack percentage, obviously. The Packers have one of the worst sack percentages in the NFL, whereas the Saints have one of the best, if not the best. I don't think they're the best, but they're pretty high. 99.37 is a pretty high number. Then, of course, you look at offensive score percentage. The Saints are actually better when it comes to that as well. They usually put up more points than the Packers. The Packers do put up points, but not at the same extent that the Saints do. Defensively speaking, so now we're shifting to the defensive side of the football. Both these teams have pretty much very similar defensive offensive score percentage, meaning the higher you score here, the better you are in terms of preventing points. And both these guys are pretty much the same, 23.94 for the Packers versus 24.57. So they pretty much allow the same amount of points per drive. Then, of course, you look at turnovers. Saints, much better in terms of creating turnovers. Much better in terms of sacks, Saints as well. Much better in terms of interceptions, as well. So, again, those are the big things, is that, sure, the Saints give up about as many points as the Packers do, but the Saints are also getting picks, they're getting sacks, they're actually doing things on defense that could have dynamic changes in games and affect things for the better. Putting the ball into your offense's hands is a big factor, and that's also why the Saints are also heavily favored here. Then you look at special teams, punt return yardage, Packers, kick return yardage, Packers, preventing punt return yardage, Packers, preventing kick return yardage, Packers, field goal percentage, also with the Packers, extra point percentage with the Saints, and punting average more so with the Saints. The only big thing to watch is the field goal percentage. The Saints do not have that great of a field goal percentage, 29.76 out of 100. And if this is a close game, Like field goal percentage really only becomes a major issue when you're in close football games. Where you're talking 3 points, 4 point difference in terms of that game. And as you can see, like if the Packers can turn this into a very close football game, they could win this game because of that issue. But if it becomes like a 2-touchdown, 3-touchdown kind of game, then the Saints, I don't think, will have issues here. But that's the only other sort of issue with the Saints as a team, is their field goal percentage is not exactly where it needs to be, and field goal percentage can be a really big deal in terms of really close football games. So, but yeah, so that's all the NFL basic comparison kind of stuff. Again, most of the data combined favors the Saints. The injury to Aaron Rodgers, I think, will further this, but we'll see. We'll see what Brett Hundley can do. But so far, again, Saints victories is heavily favored here because of all those factors, offensively speaking, the defense's ability to create turnovers and all that kind of stuff. Then, of course, we look at other sort of stat stuff. So I'm really not going to focus too much on the Packers stuff because Brett Hundley is coming in. But this is how the Packers offense has been doing completion percentage-wise versus the Saints defense. And again, most of this is generated with Aaron Rodgers there. So just keep that in mind, that a lot of this stuff is going to be useless because we're going to have a new quarterback coming in. So he's going to change the dynamics of this. But this is basically a good baseline for this is what the offense was before Hundley, and then we'll see what it is after. Then, of course, we look at the Saints offense versus the Packers defense when it comes to completion percentage. Heavily favors the Saints here. Then we look at rushing down. So this is the Packers rushing offense versus the Saints rushing defense. And honestly, the Packers will have advantages here. I think if the Packers run the football, I think if Aaron Jones gets involved, if they, I don't know what they want to do. I honestly, again, have reiterated a bit that I want Aaron Jones to be the primary ball carrier in this offense. That's just my feelings on the matter. So in long term and short term, I think he should be the primary ball carrier. And this is just more so my, thoughts and feelings of the matter. But yeah, so this is kind of what the data is stacking up. Again, favors the Packers. I think they should have some success rushing the football. Then you look at the Saints rushing offense versus the Packers rushing defense. This more so favors the Packers defense, but the Saints will have some success on second down especially, and it's pretty evenly matched on first down for the most part. Again, I'm not saying the Packers have an amazing rushing defense. They're just a little bit better, overall when it comes to, first and third down. They're a little bit better in terms of those specific situations, which is why they're favored. Then you look at the passing offense. Again, most of the stuff is going to be thrown out because of Aaron Rodgers not being there anymore. But this is a baseline for this is what the Packers offense was doing with Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see what it is next week when Brett Hundley comes in, if this goes up or down and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely sort of a factor to kind of consider. Then, of course, you look at the Saints offense versus the Packers defense, and for the most part, it actually favors the Packers defense here. Again, this is in terms of generating first downs. The Saints are best on second down, first and third down, not so much. And, we'll see what happens here, but this is definitely kind of how things are shaking out for the Saints versus the Packers in terms of passing. Then we look at sack rate for the Packers versus the Saints. Heavily favors the Saints. Brett Hundley is a little bit more athletic of a quarterback. I did some athletic data stuff with Hundley. He wasn't like Cam Newton or anything else like that, but he was athletic. He was fairly above average, athlete. So I don't know how that'll affect things 100%, but that could maybe drop the sacks a little bit, or it could make things worse. We'll see. But yeah, for the most part, definitely favors the Saints. Then we look at sack rate for the Saints offense versus the Packers defense. Heavily favors the Saints as well. The Saints just do not allow a lot of sacks. The only down and distance where the Saints actually allow a lot of sacks is on second down, and that's actually the worst down for the Packers when it comes to creating sacks. So not the best scenario there. Then we look at interception ratio for the Packers versus the Saints. Again, this is with Aaron Rodgers, so this is more so a baseline. This is what it is before, and then we'll see what the after is. And then, of course, you look at the interception ratio for the Saints versus the Packers. and mostly actually kind of favors the Packers a little bit. You know, first down, second down is kind of where they have somewhat of an advantage, but third down, not so much. Like the Saints mostly throw picks on first and second down, and that's also the area where the Packers get some of their picks. So that's going to be kind of more of an evenly matched kind of scenario. Um, but yeah, so overall, with this game, I still have to go Saints. As much as I want Brett Hundley to come in and play well, because I want every team to do well. I want every team to bring their A game. You know, I'm not one of those people that just wants a team to come in and just stink. You know, just be terrible because it just isn't very fun football. You know, but yeah, I hope Brett Hundley comes in. I hope he has success. I hope he shows you know, the world what he can do. But I'm still deeply troubled with a lot of the issues this Packers team has when it comes to defense and offense to a certain extent. So yeah, so I just have to go Saints here. I just think it favors them a lot. The defense is able to do more things. The offense is not doing, you know, things that hurt them the most. And ultimately, that's why I got to go with the Saints. So, of course, my name is James Coburn. You could find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.